So I have a feeling that I might not get invited to this year's Thanksgiving, and that's okay. It is what it is. There's a lot of people upset at me for voting for Donald Trump, but I don't care. I am a person who thinks for myself, and it is what it is. So, in this video, I am going to give 6 reasons of why I voted for Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure I have more reasons, but I'm gonna just give six. Starting with the first reason is because I am a entrepreneur, and if you are a entrepreneur or in business, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're paying attention to the market and how inflation is screwing everyone over, you will want to vote for Trump. And that is the reason why I voted for Trump, because when he was in office, everyone was doing fine. And matter of fact, I never seen so many people in my community turn into entrepreneurs. People were selling candles and lip glosses because it was the fact that they was able to have a job and branch off into other free ways, not free, but other ways of making money besides working a 9 to 5. And when he left office and Biden came into office, it was just like money became tight. And I noticed a lot of people just stopped selling whatever they were selling and just picked up like 2 or 3 jobs. So, with that being said, that is the reason why I voted for Trump, because I feel like with Trump in office, now is the best time to really go for it. If you are trying to sell some things, work your way up the ladder. Now is the time, because if Kamala would have got into office, it would have got worse. Just in my personal opinion. The second reason why I voted for Donald Trump was because of the illegal immigration that's been happening for the past 4 years. And I remember last year I made a video talking about this, of how illegal immigrants was screwing up New York, and it was getting worse and worse by the minute. Luckily, I live in Staten Island, and the people out here was not for it. All the other boroughs got it worse when it came to like the shelters and all that. And I saw the difference of how Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens became versus Staten Island and a place like Long Island. I would rather live either in Staten Island or in Long Island than Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, because ugh, they went through it when it came to the illegal immigrants going into some of the neighborhoods. So, and when it was happening in Staten Island, I saw a complete difference. There was a lot of creeps. There were like 6 men sleeping outside of my home on the lawn. Like, what the heck? What the heck was that about? Like, no, nope. They had to go. And if Kamala would have gotten into office, it would have got worse with the illegal immigration coming through. I don't understand why people can't seem to comprehend that. Like, our neighborhoods was getting worse, and they was taking jobs that, you know, besides the DoorDash jobs and all that, but the construction and other like whatchamacallit, I can't even think straight. What's the word I'm looking for? Warehouses. There we go. They was taking those type of jobs, and I've seen a lot of fellow Americans being out of work because of that. So, common sense, wouldn't you want a a secure border? Like, I don't know. So, with that being said, I voted for Donald Trump for that reason. Like, at this, there's nothing more I can say to that. It's just 1 + 1 = 2, just common sense. Another reason why I voted for Trump, and some people are going to take this the wrong way, and it is what it is. When it comes to Kamala, I don't, whatever how you pronounce her name, I'm not going to vote for her because she's just a woman. There were women out here that was voting for her just for the simple fact that she's a woman. And I've even heard of someone saying, oh, we need a uterus in office in the White House. How is that going to help the country? Because she has a uterus? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I am for a woman president. Like, I am for that, but she has to have some great policies and be a strong leader in order to be in office. Like, I'm not going to put you in office just because you have a uterus. You have to show me that you are a great leader and you have some good ass policies for me to want to vote for you. And for women to vote for her based off of her being just a woman, that's not a great way. That's not a good reason to put somebody in office. And I feel as though, and I think I'm gonna make another video talking about this. I feel as though women saw Kamala, or just a woman president, like, we just needed that representation. And the fact that you can't find power within your own self, that you need to see a woman in office to feel empowered, that says a lot. If you hear some sirens going off, that's the cops. And that's another reason why I voted for Trump, because it's getting out of hand, okay? The criminality, everything is going up. But anyway, when it comes to, like I was saying, when it comes to women wanting to see a woman in office, they need that representation to feel empowered. The fact that you're not empowered within says a lot. Like, I don't need a woman in office to feel empowered. Like, I'm already empowered. I look at myself every day. The moves that I make, I don't need to see a woman in office to feel empowered. And the fact that some of y'all was competing woman versus man is like, it's very unbalanced. Like, this whole woman versus men shit needs to just go, because we operate differently. Men operate on a different frequency, women operate on a different frequency. Why are we fighting? Like, no one's going to win. We have different pros and cons. And yeah, I'm gonna make a separate video about that, because when it comes to women leading a country, which I do not mind, I don't care, as long as the policies are great and you are a great leader. It's like, okay, it's like this, because I hang around a lot of guys, and when it comes to women leading, they feel kind of insulted because of their masculine energy. And I understand that. I really do, because they operate on this alpha type of mentality. Not all of them are alphas, though. They think they are because they are men, but not all of them are alphas. And I make better moves than half of the guys that I know. But yeah, when it comes to that, like, I get it. So to see a woman leading, you really got to get the respect of men, in a sense, because of how they think. And I've seen that before. I've seen women in leadership where even men respect them. And if you're going to come through as the first woman president, you have to be that biatch. Not a bitch per se, but you have to be that badass where everyone respects you, including the men. So with that being said, I'm not going to vote for you because you have a uterus. That's no way to get respect. The next reason why I voted for Donald Trump, which is, I believe, my fourth reason, the reason why I voted for Trump is because of me being Indigenous American. Now, what does that got to do with Donald Trump? And I've seen some fellow Indigenous Americans that wanted Kamala to win. And here's the thing. If she would have won, this place would have been in chaos. Not as far as people rioting or everything, but the fact that there would have been wars started. the fact that they're trying to bring in these electric factories to build these electric cars, what is it, the battery factories, is trying to bring all that into the country. She would have been no good for this land. And if you are someone who is Indigenous American, you, just like majority of Indigenous Americans I know, we really do care for our land, and we do not want to see it being burnt to the ground. And I feel like with her in office, this place with the water pollution, all these battery factories and everything else, it would have been no good for the environment. And you don't want to see your ancestral lands being abused in this way. I feel like with Trump in office, none of that will really happen. I don't see him trying to bring in all these battery factories. He's not for war either. And also with these illegal immigrants that were coming out here and that still are coming out here, because last time I checked, I think like 800,000 just rushed the border because they was afraid of Trump winning. But with them being out here, they don't respect this land either. I've seen them throw trash everywhere. So with that being said, and with RFK being with Trump and how he cares for the environment and our food being all healthy and everything, I have a better shot at choosing Donald Trump as president. So there's that. And for the Indigenous people that did vote for Kamala, like, it is what it is. I'm not going to, I don't know, turn the other cheek because you voted for somebody else. That's childish. But I find that really wild because all of the things that they had in stores for this place, and with them bringing the illegal immigrants, I noticed that people who did not live in these areas that wasn't like affected by these illegal immigrants, yeah, I just don't know how bad it could have been if it would have entered y'all neighborhoods. And I'm curious if that would have happened, if their minds would have changed or not. I don't know, because out here in New York, a lot of people, even though this place still was blue, a lot more people did vote Republican. So it's like the pendulum is swinging the other way. Speaking of being Indigenous, so on my channel, I talk a lot about Indigenous stuff, ancestry, and I am a genealogist freak because I've been looking up my family's history for years and years. And what I've noticed in all of the documents that I've found about my family, a lot of them have fought in these wars, like the Civil Wars, World War One, World War Two. My grandfather fought in the Vietnam War. They was in every last single battle that has happened here in America, and even before America was America. They was in wars before that. And that really showed me of how much my ancestors loved their land so much that they were willing to fight for this place. Even when they became misclassified as Negroes and mulattoes and all of that, they still fought for this country. And ain't no way I'm gonna turn my back on my ancestors to vote for someone who I feel like didn't even love this country. Didn't she grow up in Canada mostly and came out here and pretended to be Black American? She didn't even have the Black American experience, and she doesn't even come from the Black American, like, ancestry, descendant. She's not even a descendant of one of the Black Americans out here. So with that being said, I feel like she was being phony, and she did not really give a fuck about this place. This was a opportunity to take over whatever business plans her and her husband had in the administration, wherever. Like, they was, metaphorically speaking, burning this place to the ground. And my ancestors had fought really hard to keep this place going and to have a better future for future grandchildren like myself. So therefore, no. That's why I voted for Donald Trump. And the last reason why I voted for Donald Trump is because of these nuclear threats that I feel like would have been most likely to happen if Kamala was in office, or if anything, she would have bowed down to these other places and let them run rampant all over the US, like with China coming through, buying up all the land and everything that I've been seeing. Yeah, she would have been no match for Russia, China, and all these other places. They would have just ran through her like water. And with Trump in office, he really, like, I like the fact that he does intimidate some people. You need a little bit of intimidation. I feel like a little bit of intimidation with when it comes to a leader is pretty, well balanced and healthy to have, because if you have a leader that no one respects, you're going to get run over. And no, we don't need no cackling, laughing, ha ha he, let's all get along leader to be in office. No, we need somebody who is strong, level headed, and will stomp on some toes if needed. And with that being said, that is why I voted for Donald Trump. And I know I might not get invited to the Thanksgiving this year, but it's okay. Like, I am someone who thinks for myself. And I know of some people who thought just like myself, but with them being in a relationship and their partner was for Kamala, they were kind of forced to vote for Kamala. Either that or have a rough ass relationship, like arguments left and right and center. No, that's not good. I feel like if I follow the crowd, if I'm voting for somebody because other people want me to vote the same way that they vote, therefore I'm not thinking for myself no more. If I'm doing things based off of how other people think, who am I at the end of the day? I've lost myself. So no, I am a free thinker. I think for myself, and therefore you're not going to tell me who to vote for and who not to vote for. I voted for Donald Trump for those reasons, and that is that. Period. One more thing. When it came to Kamala and their whole thing was about abortion rights and all that stuff, when it comes to Donald Trump, he did say that he's going to leave it up to the states. And he did say that he understands when it comes to certain situations like incest, women getting our word and stuff like that. He understands that. So he's not anti-abortion. Like he is someone that is just like most of us, your body, your choice, my body, my choice. But he is leaving it up for the states to decide. I don't understand. You know what? I kind of understand it, because if you watch the media on the other side of the plane, they make it seem like, oh, he's going to ban abortions and all that stuff. So if you watch that all the time, you're not going to really see the other side. You have to watch both sides. And I did watch both sides. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump this year. But when it comes to that, when it comes to me, I feel the same way. My body, my choice. Your body, your choice. Do what you want. But it's so funny. Years and years and years ago, wow, I made it sound like a century ago. But years ago on this YouTube channel, I had made a video talking about taking charge of your fertility. And I show this book. I had this book for a while now. And I spoke about not liking, being on birth control and stuff like that, and me getting off of birth control real early in life. And I'm glad that I did that, because, birth control is not really all that good for the body. And I'm a health freak on top of that. So, yeah. So, I haven't been on birth control in over, like 10 years. I figured out which week where I am ovulating, and so far I never gotten pregnant, not once. Nowadays, yeah, I do want to have a baby, but at the time I did not want to have a baby. And when it comes to that, because this is another video for another time, but real quick, when it comes to that, to avoid abortions because you're carelessly, fucking around, not based off of being R word and all the other scary stuff, but just based off of carelessly fucking and accidentally getting pregnant. Like, first and foremost, figure out your body. Figure out your body. Figure out the week that you are most fertile and is ovulating. If you when you figure that out and you figure out the week, I'm rambling, but my point is, when you figure out the week and the day that you are ovulating, do not have sex for that week. And you need to get with somebody who understands that and respects that, because I know plenty of women who had gotten abortions because their man was just like, oh, we can't afford to have one right now. And they really wanted to have that baby. So, there are some guys out there that will make you get an abortion. And half of the time, women don't even want that. They really want to have a family. But some dudes just be like, no, just get an abortion. And I feel like that's wrong. You should not be getting with a guy who doesn't care for your body, because that's a traumatic thing to go through. And I've seen women get depressed after having abortions. So what you're seeing in the media with all these women celebrating getting abortions, like, where I'm from, no one celebrates that. It's kind of like it's a sad thing to go through. But to prevent that, really study your body and figure out the week that you are most fertile and don't have sex for that week. And get with a guy who respects that. Like, if as a guy, like, if you can't go a week without sex, that just tells me that you got nothing else going on with your life. Like, you could put that sexual energy towards other things. I'm just saying. So with that being said, those are my reasons of why I voted for Trump. And yeah, it is what it is. I don't care.